Today we will be going over the most dangerous and intense rivalries in club football across all regions. You don't want to be going to one of these games because they be catching more bodies than Jeffrey Dahmer. First game, LA Galaxy versus LA, I'm joking. Boca Juniors at River Plate, also known as the Super Clásico, is one of the most famous and intense rivalries in football, and it's probably the biggest game outside of Europe. This game between these two took the life of more than 100 people over the years. The first match was played in August 1913. These two clubs both originated in the La Boca neighborhood of Buenos Aires, but River moved to the wealthier district of Núñez, which created an instant cultural divide. Boca is seen as the club of the working class, while River became associated with the elite, earning them the nickname Los Millonarios.
Her family's team, Boca Juniors, which is a very popular team in Buenos Aires, is in this final. And I say to my uncle, well, to her uncle, hey, can we go to this game? And he gets this very serious look on his face, and he's like, we can go. No women, no children. I was like, what? We had to get through, I think, 3 police barricades. There was temporary fencing with barbed wire put up, and there was nobody sitting in the best seats, right? Because that was the distance that people could throw things and hit each other. And I say to Hector, I'm like, should we go? And he goes, no, we still. And it was because they needed time to get out of the neighborhood where the stadium was. I was like, what are we waiting for now? And they're like, now they still need 5 more minutes to clear the neighborhood. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. Like, definitely the craziest sporting event I've been to.
Over the decades, this rivalry has seen countless iconic games, but the craziest of them all, at least in recent memory, is the 2018 Copa Libertadores final. The first leg ended in a 2-2 draw, but chaos erupted before the second leg at Buenos Aires. River Plate's fans attacked Boca's team bus, injuring several players. The match was postponed and later moved to Madrid, Spain, making it the first time the Libertadores final was held outside of South America. River went on to win 3-1 in extra time, a match filled with drama and unforgettable tension. It wasn't just a game, it was an international spectacle, and the whole world was watching. Next up, Raja Casablanca versus Wydad Casablanca, the biggest rivalry in Morocco and one of the fiercest in Africa. This derby has led to some intense riots over the years, with multiple fans losing their lives in the chaos. The two teams represent different social and cultural backgrounds. Raja is traditionally seen as the club of the people, while Wydad has historical ties to the elite. The tension between the two is unmatched, and when they meet in the Casablanca derby, the city turns into a war zone. One of the most chaotic matches in recent years was the 2019 Arab Club Champions Cup quarterfinals. Raja pulled off an insane comeback, winning 4-4 on away goals after being 4-1 down. The scenes after the game were absolute madness, with flares, riots, and clashes between fans and police. The rivalry goes beyond football. It's a way of life. Now, let's talk about one of the most violent rivalries in Europe, Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce, also known as the Intercontinental Derby. This is not just a football match, it's a battle between the European and the Asian side of Istanbul. Turkish football fans are on another level, and this derby has resulted in multiple violent clashes, including fatalities. The most infamous case was in 2013, when a Fenerbahce fan was stabbed to death by Galatasaray supporters after a heated match. Another brutal moment came in 1996, when Graham Souness, managing Galatasaray, planted the club's flag in the center of Fenerbahce's pitch, nearly starting a riot.
We've got time for it. I don't know if we've got time for it. It wasn't the sort of cleverest thing I've ever done. 9 months further on, we win the cup in their stadium, big flags handed over from the supporters. My turn to wave it. A couple of waves, look to hand it to someone, they've all gone up to the halfway line. So I've now got this flag jogging back up to the halfway line to get the cup, look into the emptying stands, And I see this director in the director's box, sort of looking down. I thought, I'll show you who's a cripple. And then, obviously, once I planted it, thought it was a good idea when I got it into the ground, turned around, and their supporters weren't too happy. They were trying to get onto the pitch, and I found a bit of pace from somewhere and managed to get underneath the police shields into the tunnel in safety.
And the moment has been gone down in legend.
I'm sitting in the dressing room. I'm thinking that when the president comes down and have my air ticket back home tomorrow morning, I've never kissed as many mustachioed men in my life. All the directors had tears in their eyes, and it went down really well.
The games between these two are always intense, with lights, flares, and an atmosphere that feels more like a war zone than a football stadium. Over in Egypt, we have ahly versus zamalek, the biggest rivalry in African football. This is more than just a derby, it's a national obsession. These two clubs have dominated Egyptian football for decades, and their matches have led to some of the worst football-related violence in history. In 1971, at least 20 people died in a riot after a game, but the worst incident came in 2012, in what is known as the Port Said Stadium disaster. After a match between Al-Masri and Al-Ahly, chaos erupted in the stands, leading to the death of at least 74 people, many of whom were Al-Ahly fans. That's why Mohamed Salah, when he was playing in Fiorentina, he was wearing the number 74. While not directly from an Ahly versus Zamalek match, the rivalry played a role in the tensions that led to the disaster. These two clubs represent deep political and social divisions, making their clashes some of the most dangerous in the world. Finally, let's talk about one of the most hostile football environments ever, Serbia's eternal derby, Red Star Belgrade versus Partizan Belgrade. Well, this match is definitely not just about football. It's about the history and politics and pure hatred. The violence surrounding this fixture is legendary. Fights break out before, during, and after the game. And in some cases, people have been killed. One of the worst incidents happened in 1999, when a Partizan fan was shot dead during clashes between supporters. The stadium is always covered in flares, smoke, and banners filled with threats. It's one of the most intimidating atmospheres in world football, and when a team in the Champions League goes to play Red Star Belgrade, they can feel it. And stepping into the stands during this match is like stepping into a battlefield. These games aren't just rivalries, they're battles that have shaped football history. If you ever think about going to one of these matches, just remember, it's not about football, it's about survival.